Welcome to day 13 of 30 days of eating for me and my dog after 5 years on a carnivore diet. I am tracking, documenting, and sharing every single thing that me and my dog consume, and at the end of each video, I go over a complete nutritional breakdown as well as the cost. And I'm going to see if we can optimize the diet and create a more rounded and balanced meal plan using only carnivore foods. So if that's something that resonates with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the future videos in this series. Now this video should be pretty short and sweet because today is going to be another OMAD day for me. I didn't plan that out, but it just kind of happened that way. I haven't eaten yet, but I do have Shawnee's food laid out because she's queen around here and she eats first. So let's go in here and see what we're working with. This is 30 ounces of food. I've got 14 ounces of chicken back. I get this for $1.79 a pound. 14 ounces is $1.54. I've got 5 ounces of venison here. This is free. I sourced this right here in my backyard. I got 4 ounces of 80/20 local ground beef from a local butcher shop. I get this for $2.99 a pound. So 4 ounces is 76 cents. I've got 4 ounces of chicken gizzards. I get this for $1.29 a pound. And 4 ounces is 32 cents. And then on the end here, can't forget the chicken feet. I've got 2 chicken feet here, which is 3 ounces. I get this for $2.24 a pound, and 3 ounces is 42 cents. And then as always, right here in the back, I've got some bone broth that I made myself, also free. So the total cost for this entire spread that you see here is $3.04. And when you boil that down, that actually comes down to $1.62 a pound. Alright, so I've been rummaging around pulling out food, and here's what I ended up with for my one and only meal of the day. 10 ounces of 75/25 local beef. I get this for $2.99 a pound, and I will not strain the fat off this. I'm going to cook this in a cast iron skillet. 8 ounces of local venison. I sourced this myself, so this is 100% free. 9 ounces of beef fat trimmings. I actually just picked this up today. I got this for $2.99 a pound from a local butcher shop. For this rendered beef fat, I'm just going to take some pink Himalayan salt and I'm going to sprinkle it in there, mix it together, and I'm going to put this in the fridge for a minute until it hardens up, and then I'm going to use this almost like butter on my food. And if you've never tried this before, it is fantastic and blows butter out of the water in my opinion. Alright, my food is done and I am ready to eat. It's been well over 24 hours since the last time I ate, so I am getting ready to grub out. I got my burger, I got my venison, I have my semi-solid rendered beef fat, and I have my fried out beef fat trimmings, which if you've never had in a cast iron skillet, these are phenomenal. I'm looking forward to these more than anything else. So I'm going to dig into this, but before I do, let's talk about cost. So the grand total for the day, 27 ounces of food, is $3.61. So the total for this meal and my dog's meal, which her meal was $3.04, is $6.65. So 2 meals, myself and my dog, for less than $7. So not bad. And if I ate breakfast, it would probably still be under $10 because I would probably have eaten, a pound of ground beef or whatever. So it would have been like $3 more. But I'm going to dig into this. I'm going to enjoy this a lot. And right after this, we'll get into the nutritional breakdown for the day. All right, day 13 is in the books. I got through all that except for 1 ounce of this fat. And I deducted that off my daily tally here. Alright, so total calories consumed today, just that one meal, 2,686 calories. And that is because it was a lot of fat. 9 ounces of fat, ended up being 8 because I took an ounce out of there. And that's where most of those calories came from. So that put me in a 32 calorie surplus. That's after walking around and stuff. That's pretty good to get that amount of calories in a single meal. So if I wanted to start doing OMAD, it's kind of good to know that I can get all the nutrition I need from a single meal. So my fat to protein ratio for the day was 73-27, and that is 73% of my calories came from fat and 27% came from protein. Total protein consumed, not bad actually. This is like right at 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I consumed 167 grams of protein. And I weighed myself this morning. I think I was still 168. So again, haven't really lost weight, haven't gained weight. Fat, 218 grams. Again, on the high fat side, so It makes sense that I would have more fat than protein. Iron, I got 2.5 times my RDA. B12, wow, just that one single meal I got 15.5 times my RDA. Calcium, 19%. Not too bad for what I had. I mean, I didn't really eat any calcium-rich foods. And obviously, if I wanted to bump that up, I could include dairy, I could include eggshell powder. There would still be ways to bump up calcium, even eating OMAD. Folate, 11%. I'm not surprised that this is low. This usually doesn't come up unless I eat liver, organs, seafood, stuff like that. Vitamin A, 1%, very, very low on that. And again, that's another one that usually doesn't come up until I eat liver, organs. I think fish drives that one up too, and eggs would probably also drive that one up. Dairy as well. Potassium, 59%, not too bad. If I wanted to bump that up some more, I probably could have subbed out some of the venison for something like salmon, like wild-caught salmon, and that probably would have brought potassium up quite a bit more. Moving down to the B vitamins. So B1 is about half my RDA. Not surprised by this because B1 has been a vitamin that is typically on the lower side. It's usually close to my RDA, but never quite over. I think there's only been a couple times it's over. But I'm not concerned with this, obviously, because I've gotten really close to my RDA and exceeded it multiple times. So I pretty much know by now what I can do to bump that one up. All the other B vitamins are at or above my RDA except for B5, and that one's at 92%. So that one's, I'm totally fine with that. Vitamin C, 0%. Again, not surprised by this. I had no vitamin C rich foods, but there is some trace amounts of vitamin C in red meat, specifically grass-fed meat. But if I wanted to drive that up, I could have added in some pork liver, some chicken livers, spleen, thymus. There's a bunch of organs actually that are pretty rich in vitamin C I could have added in. And just small amounts of that would have driven vitamin C up quite a bit. So I'm not too concerned with that one either. Vitamin D, 7%. Again, not too surprising. If I included seafood, fatty fish, fish oils, dairy, eggs, that would have drove vitamin D up quite a bit. But I was also out in the sun quite a bit today after I got done with my grocery shopping. So I'm good with that. I got plenty of vitamin D on my skin when I was outside. Vitamin E, this is another one that's not too surprising, 12%. Vitamin E has been one that's been pretty consistently low until I add in things like seafood, chicken, pork. That usually drives it up pretty high. Seafood specifically, I think, drove it up pretty high. And the same goes with vitamin K. Those two kind of go hand in hand. I got 13% on that one. I think if I made that one meal a day with some variety, with the things I just mentioned, I probably would have been looking a lot better on a lot of these vitamins down through here. But for a single meal, I'm not concerned about this. Copper, I met my RDA on that one. That's not too surprising. Same with iron. Magnesium, 39%. Not bad for what I ate. I mean, I'm a huge fan of magnesium. It's very, very important to me. And we saw quite a few times within the last few days where I was able to actually meet my RDA of magnesium just with animal foods, which is pretty awesome. Manganese, 6%. Not surprised by this either. Manganese has been another one that's been kind of a thorn in my side. The only times it really came up quite a bit was when I added in the oysters. I think the day I had the seafood day. And I think I got really close, or I might have met my RDA on manganese on that day. Phosphorus, I got my RDA on that one. Selenium, almost, right at 2 times my RDA. Sodium, 76%. I don't know exactly how much salt I used on my food I just ate, but I usually just put like a teaspoon in there because I do salt my food to taste. Zinc, I got 2.5 times my RDA. Pretty good for just what I had. And I really do like the fact that the stuff I've been eating, I've been getting a lot of zinc because zinc is very important. Moving down to lipids, cholesterol, quite a bit of cholesterol, 721 milligrams, and that's because it was a very high fat meal. Omega-3, 131%, omega-6, 14%. I'm always good with not getting my RDA on omega-6. As long as I'm getting omega-6, because it is important. You just don't want to be very high on omega-6 compared to omega-3. You want that ratio to be more on the side of omega-3 because it's more anti-inflammatory. Saturated fat, trans fat, I'm good there, no issues. Fats are very important for the human body as long as they're coming from animal fats and not seed oils. Going down to proteins, and not too surprising, I met and exceeded my RDA on every single protein and essential amino acid that is tracked in chronometers, so that's really good. And I say this every time, but it makes sense because meat is a very complete protein. There's so much stuff in meat that is so beneficial. and essential for the human body that you can only find in meat. And a lot of these essential amino acids and these proteins are a prime example of that. That's actually not bad as far as nutrients goes for just that one meal. And I know by looking at the past couple weeks what I need to do now to round out those nutrients when I'm only eating red meat. Tomorrow I'm going to go over my grocery haul. I'm just going to give a real quick rundown of exactly what I bought, why I bought it, and the cost of all the things that I bought. And again, I bought these foods because I'm trying to optimize the diet now. And to do that, I had to buy a bunch of different foods that I normally don't consume. So I think it's going to be really interesting to not only track and see what this looks like nutritionally as I add these foods in, but I'm also curious on how I'm going to feel, because some of these foods are foods I've never eaten before. Some of them may not be for everybody. I bought some stuff that might seem kind of weird to people, but when you're eating variety and you're eating nose to tail, that gives you a very wide range of nutrients, because every part of the animal has a different nutrient profile. And I think by including this variety, we're really going to see that, and we're going to see how this kind of irons itself out. But with that said, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like, subscribe, join the Apex Tribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the future videos in this series. And I'll see you on day 14. All right, peace out.